All right, so these are some of the news articles from 2014 when there was a huge crisis of Ebola circulating in the United States. As you can see, these are pretty outstanding headings to CNN broadcasts. Ebola, the ISIS of biological agents, and doctor in New York has Ebola. This was in 2014 at the height of when everyone was concerned about Ebola. Most of you, probably none of you, have like a first-hand account of Ebola. Maybe Dr. Doris does, but I do also, kinda. So I have 3 cousins that live in Avon with me. I was a junior in high school at the time. We were taking them in for a week because their parents went down to Disney for a vacation. So I took my cousin that's a year younger than me out to breakfast with some of my friends. And we're sitting there eating breakfast, eating waffles, pancakes, eggs. And you look up at the TV screen and there's a flight coming into Cleveland that has Ebola on it. And a headline just like this. So we looked into it. Turns out his parents were on that flight from Atlanta to Cleveland. Nothing serious. Ebola was not spread in the United States, but there's a huge media over dramatization of the whole event. So today I'm going to be talking about some of the challenges of the Ebola crisis. My name's Andrew Roesch. So my 3 main points: there is a huge lack of medical personnel in sub-Saharan African countries where Ebola is most prevalent. The international community states that there should be nearly 890 nurses per 100,000 people. In sub-Saharan countries, there are only 73. And in developed countries like America, England, so on, there's 737 per 100,000 people. Here's a graph of some of these countries in sub-Saharan Africa, and as you can see, only Zambia has around a third of what, or a seventh of what you should have. All these countries are severely lacking. The second of my 3 main points is that there's a fear of seeking medical attention. These people show up in spacesuit looking things. These uneducated people in Africa don't know what's going on. They're very scared, skeptical of what these people are doing. They don't know where they're taking their family members that have been diagnosed with Ebola and when they're going to return. Also, there's conspiracy theories about these healthcare workers dressed up and taking people to treat Ebola. So the local conspiracies say that these people dressed up as spacesuits are taking our family members, and they could be taking them to outer space. Who knows? They're very skeptical of seeing these things. So, because of this fear of medical attention, people diagnosed with Ebola may have it, spread it to their family members without knowing, and it only makes the situation worse. Also, there's the challenge of the cultural aspect. Funeral traditions can be affected. People diagnosed with Ebola that die, those corpses must be buried in body bags and placed in certain areas. According to the Death and Dying Encyclopedia, there's an African tradition that people, the dead, are visited by the community in their own homes for 7 to 13 days after they are dead. Therefore, all these people from the community coming in to visit, lay gifts, all the things like that, are susceptible to contracting the virus. And there's also government and hostile interference. These governments in sub-Saharan Africa could be in crisis, could be in civil war, all things like this. According to CNN, there was 180 attacks in 2019 from January to May, resulting in 4 deaths and 38 injuries. So some of my solutions for this problem. Nurses need to have more health and safety. They are exposed to HIV, AIDS, Ebola, all of the huge diseases that are affecting Africa at the moment. They do not have the experience, the knowledge, and the classes to teach them about these diseases and the importance of staying safe from them. Also, the retention of nurses. You're saying nearly 12% of nurses from each country leave every year to go to prospective countries, Africa. They migrate from Africa to Europe, to the United States, to South America, because the pay is so much better and the risk of contracting a deadly disease is less. Education is also a huge problem. There's a lot of education programs in the United States in developed countries, but there's not a lot of education programs in underdeveloped countries, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, this is something that we could fix by sending American students, American doctors, American teachers over to Africa in exchange programs with the universities there in order to better them and better us. The Ebola education also needs to change. The public their perception needs to change about the disease. They need to know that this is a very serious virus. They need to know what the symptoms are, how to treat it, and where to seek treatment. They need to know where the treatment centers are and that they could say that those treatment centers are safe. The government aspect also needs to be addressed. This is a matter of national security also, because Ebola is not just a problem for one country. It could be spread across borders. It could be spread all the way across Africa, into Europe, and as CNN was saying, even into America. And also, we need to change the media perspective of Ebola. We can't have CNN saying Ebola is the new ISIS virus or whatever, all this nonsense. It needs to be how to treat and how to support people in countries that are affected by Ebola. So I'm proposing that the US, all developed nations, along with the United Nations, help seek these sub-Saharan countries to develop more infrastructure for training medical personnel, as well as funding for their economies. Africa has a ton of resources, and it doesn't just need to be us giving to Africa. The developed nations of the world can also receive resources from Africa in turn for our support and our knowledge, so that we could help combat Ebola. That's all I have for you. Any questions?